They don't burn in sunlight, they don't sparkle, and they definitely don't ask for permission. The real vampire is much darker than Hollywood ever showed you. The myth of the vampire goes back thousands of years. Ancient Mesopotamians told stories of blood-drinking demons. In Greece, they feared Lamia, a female creature who drank the blood of children. And in Slavic folklore, the vampire wasn't charming. It was a bloated corpse reeking of death, returning from the grave to feast on the living. But the fear was real. So real, in fact, that in 18th century Eastern Europe, entire villages would dig up graves and stake corpses through the heart, just to be sure they stayed dead. The most terrifying part, these weren't stories to them. They truly believed these creatures existed. And maybe they still do. One of the most infamous vampire legends is Vlad the Impaler, or Vlad the Impaler, a brutal Romanian ruler who inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula. He didn't drink blood, at least not that we can prove, but he did impale tens of thousands of people, leaving their bodies on stakes outside his castle as a warning. Some say he drank the blood of his enemies to show dominance. Others say that was just myth, but the fear he created, that was real. And then there's the Strigoi, a Romanian vampire said to be the soul of the dead, returned to suck life from the living. Unlike modern vampires, the Strigoi could turn invisible, enter dreams, and drain energy from people over time slowly, silently. Vampires in folklore weren't elegant. They were rotting, grotesque, and horrifying. They smelled like death. They walked among the living at night, creeping into homes, feeding on sleeping victims. They didn't ask to be invited in. So where did this fear come from? Some believe it was a way to explain disease. When plagues hit villages, entire families would die, one by one. People thought the first to die had become a vampire, draining the others from beyond the grave. So they dug up the body. If it wasn't decomposed, or if it looked like it had fresh blood around the mouth, they took it as proof. That's when they would stake the heart. Or worse, burn the corpse. And here's the creepy twist. In many of those cases, the body did look fresh. Why? Because in cold soil, decomposition slows. Internal pressure can force blood through the mouth or nose. To the people of the time, that was undeniable evidence of the undead. But vampires didn't stay in graves. The legend spread from Romania to Germany, to France, to England. By the time Bram Stoker wrote Dracula in 1897, vampires had already terrified Europe for over 1,000 years. But Dracula was different. He was intelligent, seductive. He looked human, until it was too late. Hollywood took that version and turned it into the vampire we know today. Immortal, pale, hypnotic, but still deadly. Even now, people claim to be vampires. There are entire subcultures of self-proclaimed sanguinarians who drink small amounts of blood for energy. Others claim to be psychic vampires, draining emotional energy instead. Sounds crazy, until you meet one. So the question is, are vampires real? Maybe not in the Hollywood sense, but the fear, the obsession with blood, the idea that something could walk among us, feeding without being seen, that's real. And maybe that's all a vampire needs, to exist.